everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the biggest struggles that I have with being autistic. Now, I've had a pretty rough few days and my mental health has just gone it's just been really, when you feel really out of control and you're in despair and you just want out, basically. And yeah, for the last few days I've just not been functioning. I've not been eating properly. I've just been in tears pretty much constantly. This is the first day that I've not cried. Actually, no, I did cry early because I had an appointment with the crisis team as a following on from yesterday. So yeah, but I am starting to feel a little bit better now, and I'm starting to see that, it's just a blip and it's going to be alright, and it happens. So it is what it is. But I'm still here. I'm still gonna carry on making YouTube videos for you guys, because I love doing that, and hopefully I'll sort my shit out for the millionth time. So I think the main struggle that I have with being autistic is the social side of things. Obviously, that's like the biggest symptom of autism, the inability to, or the struggle that somebody has to make and maintain friendships and relationships, because there's this, even if you get on really well with the person, there's always this misunderstanding on both parts where, your brains work differently, and one person sees it one way, and you see it the other way, and stuff like that. And there's always that kind of it's just really difficult to get your head around, like, other people. And I think other people find it difficult to get their heads around, well, me, definitely. So yeah. The next one is employment, and this, there's a social element to this, but I think the employment thing is difficult because obviously businesses and companies operate on a level where they need to fulfill their business needs, and a lot of the time, even though they're not supposed to do this, they offer you jobs, or kind of lead you to think that you have a good chance of getting the job, and then as soon as you mention you're autistic and you need reasonable adjustments, they just seem to kind of, not doing that, goodbye, and this is really frustrating. Not only that, it's like the run up to finding a job, because you have to find a job that's suitable for you, that's not going to cause you sensory issues, that's not going to be too much for you socially, and that you can do. It is really difficult because there's so much to take into consideration. It's not as simple as like just finding any old job. You've got to be really careful with what you do when it comes to work, because it can have a massive detrimental effect on the rest of your life. I've had jobs in the past where because of the job I was doing, everything else went out of the window, and I couldn't look after myself. I couldn't keep up with my washing and my cleaning, and just looking after myself, my daily living tasks, my health, like going to the gym and eating properly and stuff like that. Even washing yourself sometimes is, because your brain's so preoccupied with all this stuff, it is really hard. And as I say, a lot of employers aren't very sympathetic towards autistic people, unfortunately. Like, there are some good ones, I've had a couple of good ones, but on on the whole, it is very difficult, and there's a lot of this leaving jobs, getting sacked from jobs and stuff. That seems to be very common with people with autism. And I think it's only 18% of people with autism and Asperger's that are in full-time employment, which is quite low, considering the fact that most of us are very intelligent and very capable and very, very willing to work, it's quite sad, really. The third one is sensory issues. This is a big one because other people can't see that you are having sensory issues. Like if you're in a supermarket and the lights are really bright and it's really noisy and there's alarms going off and all that, and it's just full of people and it's just horrible, and you start feeling dizzy and you start feeling angry sometimes. You just feel shit and you just want to get out of there. I think a lot of the time people perceive that as you just being in a huff, when really you just want to get out of the supermarket and never go back in there again. Do online shopping from there on out. People don't really seem to be that receptive or understanding towards sensory issues. The amount of times that I've been invited to places that are really busy and stuff, and there's just no consideration whatsoever. People just, I don't know, I think people just forget that, you have this thing and, just assume that you'll be alright, when in reality it's exceptionally difficult for you to do things like that. And hats off to everybody that tries to do things like that. I know I try, and I've put myself in a lot of situations where, I've done things for other people, like, I don't know, at my expense. The next one is not really a struggle, but like a constant feeling of not belonging anywhere. And I'm not just talking about like, being a rebel and stuff like that. I'm talking about actually sometimes sitting down and thinking, I think I was actually born on a different planet and they dropped me off at birth and there was some kind of mix up at the hospital, and my parents got the alien baby and their actual child is somewhere else. Because I have actually thought that quite a lot, and I don't know, it's just really weird and exhausting being in a world that doesn't really get it, and you being somebody that doesn't really get the rest of the world. Because I think on a regular basis, that I see through bullshit very easily. I see through things that are unethical and immoral, and shouldn't be happening, which is probably the reason why I've made certain lifestyle choices, because I don't want to be a part of that. And I think neurotypical people, and this is just a generalisation, but I think neurotypical people tend to be more susceptible to believing bullshit and just accepting it like it's alright. And I just, I see things and it's a curse and a blessing, really. For example, in certain workplaces, in certain recent workplaces, which is kind of the catalyst, if that's the right word, for me having this period of I don't want to be here anymore. Because of the amount of bullshit that happened. Anyway, that's a completely different story for a different video. And it'll be a very long video. But, for example, I used to see things happening that my other colleagues used to just accept and think was normal and okay. And I just did not. It was not okay. It was really, really wrong and really, really bad, and I just couldn't believe that it was happening, and people were just like, oh yeah, you know, this is happening. I was just like, what the it's crazy, you know. And I don't know, that in itself is just, it drives me mad, because I see it all the time in different contexts with different people, and you know, I just can't get on board with it, and it really racks me off that, you know, that's such a big part of the world. Like, for another example, reality TV, you know, that is just, it's brainwashing people, it's making people stupid, it's making people switch off and just, you know, it's like eat, sleep, entertainment, repeat, and that's some people's lives. And I'm just like, no, how can you not wonder about things beyond that? How can you just sit back and do nothing, and, you know, not try and change things, and, you know, do other things? And yeah, it's just, I mean, I've watched some of these programs for a very limited period of time, and I've just thought, how can anybody watch this crap? You know, I think I've lost 3 brain cells in the last 5 minutes. I don't even know if this is going to be like an acceptable video, because my head is still just really messed up, if I'm honest with you. And yeah, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to try and keep doing regular videos, but you know, right now I'm struggling to see like the positive side of Asperger's, and I know there are positives, but you know, at the same time, when you feel like this, I feel like it pushes people away, even though you don't want the people to go away. You know, people that have kind of promised you that they're not going to go away. And it's difficult because you can't help feeling like this, you know. I guess that's another struggle, that's another point to make, when everything gets on top of you, and, you know, you can't cope with all the changes and the stuff that's happening in your life, and there's loads of stuff going on, and your head just goes, which is where I'm at now. You know, you get on with it, and you get on with it, and you get on with it, and you accept things, and you just, yeah, you just move forward the best way you can, the best possible way you can, and your head just still explodes. And people aren't very patient when that happens, you know, especially when it's happened a few times before. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now, and hopefully I'll make some better content next time. Comment below if you have any other struggles that you'd like to add. I'm sure I've missed loads out, because I mean the list is just, it's like the Magna Carta. But yeah, lack of brain power today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.